Hello, my amazing artists. Are you ready to create? Here we go. Let's do our motto first. Repeat after me. Good, better, best. Never let it rest until your good is better and your better is best. Okay, boys and girls, for today's lesson, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be drawing our penguins to go on our snowy backgrounds. So we're going to need a whiteboard marker and an eraser, and then we're going to need a big white sheet of paper, a pencil, and a bingo dabber. We're going to start with the whiteboard marker and eraser to practice. Remember, the difference between the board and the paper is pretty big. We're going to make it a lot smaller over here, then we're going to come over here and make it bigger with our bingo dabbers. All right. So open your markers, make sure your lids are on the back. Here we go. We're gonna start at the very top, the middle of our board, and what we're gonna do is we're just gonna make a circle first. This is gonna be the tip of his hat. Right under that circle, we're gonna do 2 diagonal lines. Remember, don't come down too far because we wanna have room for his head and his body. All right, now we're gonna connect those 2 lines. And we're gonna make a rim on his hat. So on each side of those, we're just gonna do a little curve like that. Just tiny little lines, not come down very far. And then we're gonna connect those 2 lines too. Now we're gonna give his hat a little fanciness. We're gonna give a little detail by adding some stripes. Yeah. You don't need a lot. Very good. Now right under that rim of his hat, we're gonna give him some great big eyeballs. And we're gonna make his eyeballs fancy. You ready? So we're gonna do a big circle up here on both of them. And then a little circle down here on both of them. And then the part we're gonna color is this inside part. We'll leave these circles white. It's gonna be like his eyes kind of shiny, okay? Then right under his eyeballs, we're gonna do a straight line across. It's gonna be his beak. And then right under that straight line, we're just gonna come down a little bit and make a little dot like that. Now we're gonna connect. We're gonna come up here to the corner of this straight line and we're gonna make it go down to that dot. Then we're gonna come back to the corner of this one and make it go down to that dot, kind of like an upside down triangle. Then we're gonna give it 2 little nose holes. So he's got eyes and a beak now. Underneath his beak, I know he doesn't have a head yet, just wait. Underneath his beak, we're gonna give him a scarf. So we're gonna do about the same as his hat. We're gonna come down here and we're gonna do a curved line across for the top of his scarf. Remember, we still need room for his body, so don't do it too low or too big. Now on each side of the this curved line, we're gonna do 2 little lines that curve down like that. And then we're gonna connect those with another curve underneath them. Now, you know how when you tie a scarf around your neck, it has a little part that hangs? We're gonna do that part next. So we're just gonna do 2 straight lines down. And then we're gonna connect them at the bottom and give it a little bit of fringe, make it kind of fancy. Now we want his scarf to match his hat, and his hat has stripes. So let's give his scarf some stripes too. Now, what's he missing? His head. So we're just gonna connect the bottom 2 corners of his hat to the top 2 corners of his scarf with a little curve. And we don't wanna make this curve too big, and I'm gonna show you why in just a second. Like that. Okay? Now, we're going to make his body. We're gonna start in this bottom corner of the scarf and we're gonna make a big curve all the way to the bottom corner of this side of the scarf, like this. Okay, kind of looks like a snowman, doesn't he? Well, we're gonna change that. Now, we're gonna give him some arms, and his arms are flippers, so it's pretty easy. So to make flippers, you can do them however you want. I'm gonna do mine up. You can do them down, whatever you want. So I'm gonna do a curve line that kind of goes up like that. Then I'm gonna start at the top and I'm gonna come back down and curve it down to the side of his body. And then I'll do this one down so you know how to do it down too. So I'm gonna start here, I'm gonna do a curve line down. And then I'm gonna come to the bottom of that curve, and then I'm gonna touch it and go back up to the side of his body. And he still needs some feet. So we're gonna start on the bottom of his body. We're just gonna come out. We're gonna make 2 humps for toes and then come back in, kind of like a heart over here. If you don't have room for feet, it's okay. Sometimes penguins hide their feet up under their bodies. Okay, and you're gonna do the same thing on this side. Okay? Now, I know the penguin needs a belly and he needs these colors. We're gonna do that part when we get to our big sheet of paper, okay? All right, make sure your lid's on your marker. Erase your boards. Y'all are gonna put those away and go to your tables. And you're gonna get your big sheets of paper. We need a bingo dabber and a pencil. Now, we're not gonna be drawing with a pencil, so you need to make sure you're following along. We're gonna be drawing with a bingo dabber, but we're gonna write our names with our pencil first and our numbers. So names, number, flip your paper over and then open your bingo dabbers. Remember the 2 rules of bingo dabbers: do not squeeze them and do not push hard. If you make a puddle, should you put your hands in it? No. Do not put your hands in it if you make a puddle, and do not pick your paper up. If you keep making puddles, Miss Bridges is gonna take this away from you and she's gonna give you a black crayon. Okay, here we go. So we're gonna start at the very top and we're gonna make that circle for the top of the hat. I'm not making it huge. I wanna have room for my whole penguin. Then right under the circle, you're gonna do 2 diagonal lines down, kind of like a triangle. Then I'm gonna connect those with a little curved line across like that. Now on each side of that, I'm gonna come down just a tiny bit, maybe about 2 finger space. I still wanna have room for a head and a body, so I'm not making my hat super big. And then I'm gonna make a curved line to connect those across. Now we want our hat to be a little bit fancy, so we're gonna give it some stripes. And you don't wanna do too many, because next week we're gonna come and color those stripes. And if they're itty bitty teeny tiny, it's gonna be hard to color them. Okay, right under the hat, we are gonna give him some big eyes. And you can make them touch like mine or whatever. It's okay if you make them too small, not a big deal. We can't erase, so we can't go back. Okay, inside of his eyes, I'm gonna make a circle here and a circle here, a circle at the top and a circle at the bottom, kind of, and then I'm gonna color around it with my bingo dabber. If you can't do that, just color them black. It's not a big deal. You don't have to have these shines. They're just a little bit of extra. Under the eyes, right under them, I'm gonna do a little curve or a straight line across like that. Then I'm gonna go under that straight line down just a little bit, not too far, because I want to have room for his body still, and I'm gonna make a dot. This is just gonna help me to make the beak. Now I'm gonna start over here. I'm gonna do a line down, and I'm gonna do a line down this way. Now I've got an upside down triangle for his beak, and inside we'll give it 2 little dots for nostrils. Now before we do his head, we wanna do his scarf. So right under his beak, don't come down too far. Remember, we need this part for his body. We're gonna do a little curve across, like a little smile. Now on each side, we're gonna come down just a little bit like we did up here with the hat. And then we're gonna connect those with another curve right under them. Now we want that part that hangs down, so we're making 2 lines over here and connect them. Give a little fringe. We want our scarf to match our hat with the stripes. So let's make some stripes on our scarf. Remember, you don't want them too small because we're gonna color them. Now when it's hanging, we want to do the stripes the opposite way like that. Now let's give him a head. You ready? Okay. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start at the bottom corner of his hat. And we're gonna make a curved line to the top corner of his scarf. Okay? And you're gonna do the same thing over here. Okay. Now we're gonna give him a body. We're gonna come back and add some details in just a second. We're gonna give him a body. We're gonna start over in this corner of his scarf and we're gonna make a curved line to this corner. Now, if you want to have room for the feet, don't go all the way to the bottom. So leave a little room for his feet down there. I left a little room, you see that? Okay, now we can do his flippers. I don't have a lot of room on this side, so I'm just gonna do one flipper that kind of goes up like that. I think I'm going to do, and then I'm gonna do this one that goes down like that. Now, before we do the feet, let's add some details. So you know how penguins have white inside their faces and black on the outside? And then they have white bellies and black on the outside. We're gonna do that with a Bingo Dabber. It's kind of like we're gonna be coloring with a marker. So we're gonna come to the sides of his head. You see the sides up here? And we're gonna make this line right here just thicker, okay? So we're just gonna make it a little bit thicker like this. See how I made it thicker on this side than this side? And then I'm gonna do the same thing over here. I'm just gonna make it a little bit thicker of a line. So now it looks like he has a white face and he's got a black head. We're gonna do the same thing with his body. We're gonna make around his body on the sides a little bit thicker like that. Be careful of your scarf on this side. We don't wanna color our scarf in. Now it looks like he has a white belly and he's got black around the outside. And you can continue it down at the bottom if you want. I just did it on the sides. Then his flippers should probably match his body, so we're gonna color those black as well. And when you get done doing that part, then you can add his feet. Remember, you're gonna come up, 2 curves down and back. Up, 2 curves down and back. And let's leave his feet white because next week we're gonna actually color them orange. All right, and you're done with your penguin. Make sure you put your lid nice and tight on your Bingo Dabber. Next week we'll cut these out. We'll color them, cut them, and then we'll glue them onto the snow.